also serve as mulching material, that is to serve as mulching material to prevent excessive evaporation of moisture from the soil. Then the planting of cocoa. Cocoa is propagated by seed. The seed can be planted directly in the field, or they may be raised first in the nursery before the seedling are transplanted into the field, onto the field. Direct planting in the field is known as planting as stake. That is, if you plant on your field directly, then you are planting at stake. Then what are the nursery practices engaged in planting cocoa? In the nursery, seeds are first planted in polythene or boxes filled with soil, which are later transferred or transplanted on the field after germination. The advantages of raising seedling in nursery include a higher yield, a higher percentage of germination, and a better seedling survival in the field. That is, if we use the nursery way of planting, you have a higher percentage of germination, and then there's better seedling survival on the field. Then what are the nursery establishments? Nursery establishments involves the following. It involves selecting a site that is close as possible to the field of permanent establishment. That is, where you are going to establish the field on which you are going to establish the cocoa must not be far from the nursery. That is, you site your nursery very close to the field. Then you provide artificial shade of 1.8 to 2.4 meter high over the site. The shade can be provided with palm fronds. That is, in establishing the nursery, you have to provide shade, which is not necessarily too much high. The shade can just be of height of 1.8 to 2.4. Then you fill the black polythene bags with of 20 cm by 12 cm with fertile soil and arrange them in rows under the shade. After you've done that, you arrange the polythene bags on beds or raised platform made from bamboo poles. Then you sow the seed with a flat side down, either in the morning or late in the evening, covering lightly with soil and watering regularly. That is, when you are planting, the flat side must be on the ground, and then the planting is done either in the morning or late in the evening. And after you've done the planting, you cover it with soil so as it can have firm grip, so that the roots can have firm grip in the soil, and then you water it regularly. Then after you've done that, you spray the seedling regularly and protect them against insect attack and damage. That is, you have to be checking the seedling regularly. Then you reduce the shade gradually as from the 5th month, so as to get the seedling adapted in preparation for transplanting. Then you transplant the seedling into the field as from the 5th to 6th month. That is, towards the 6th month, you start transplanting the seed on the field. Now, what is the spacing required while transplanting on the field? The spacing when transplanting cocoa on the field is 3 meter by 3 meter spacing. The seedling are first placed by the hose. That is, you place the seedling by the hole, then the polythene bag is carefully removed, and the seedling is lowered inside the hole with a ball of earth. That is, you don't remove the seedling from the soil, you carry it with the soil and put it inside the hole you dug. The hole is then filled with the topsoil and pressed down firmly. And then transplanting is best done between April and June, when rains become regular, because just as actually discussed during the climatic environment, that cocoa requires high amounts of rainfall. Then what are the maintenance practices required in cocoa? In many cases, young cocoa plantations are intercropped with plantains, bananas, and cocoyam to provide shade at the early stages of establishment. Also, young cocoa silage must be mulched at the onset of the dry season. That is, at the onset of the dry season, you have to mulch the young cocoa silage. Then weeding is done at least twice. That is, you can do it more than twice. in a year during the first 2 years, but may be reduced to once as the plant grows and a fairly close canopy is achieved. That is, when cocoa is still young and there's no canopy, you have to do the weeding continuously, regularly, so that as to prevent weeds from growing on the field, because the weeds harbor pests, they harbor insects, and then they harbor other things that can affect the cocoa on the field. Mature or old cocoa plantation should be pruned regularly to remove unwanted growth. Parasitic plants, e.g. the mistletoe and some broadleaf epiphytes which might affect the production, should be removed. That is, any other plant which is not cocoa, as the cocoa grows, you have to be removing them so that they will not serve as a source of infection to cocoa. Under good management, the cocoa plant will bear fruits in 4 years. Harvesting is selectively done over the fruiting season because pod ripening is usually not uniform. Ripened pods are harvested with a short cutlass or B9. That is, you can use your cutlass in harvesting the pods. Then, what are the processing practices involved in cocoa? After harvesting, the cocoa pods are gathered to a point where the pods are carefully opened with a blunt cutlass or by heating them with a heavy rod to remove the cocoa beans. The good cocoa beans are fermented either in baskets or perforated boxes lined with plantain or banana leaves. The beans may also be fermented in heaps heavily covered with leaves. That is, you can ferment the cocoa beans either in baskets covered with leaves or heaps heavily covered with leaves. You can use the plantain or banana leaves in doing that. During fermentation, the heat that has generated inside the beans, which is around 42 degrees Celsius or 48 degrees Celsius, kills the embryo and also kills the beans. That is, it helps. The temperature generated during fermentation helps in curing the beans. After fermentation, the beans are sun-dried on concrete slabs or floors or on raised platform to a low moisture content of 6 to 8%. That is, you have to dry your cocoa very well to a moisture content of 6 to 8% for proper storage. Artificial dryers may also be used in drying your cocoa beans. That is, you can sun dry it and also you can employ artificial dryers. Then how is cocoa bean stored? Properly dried cocoa beans are stored in jute bags. That is, since the farmers are not going to keep them for long, and before being transported to those that will export it, the cocoa beans are stored in jute bags. Then what's cocoa bean used for? The cocoa beans are processed into cocoa butter and cocoa powder, which are widely used for the manufacture of chocolate, fruit, and drinks, and other cocoa beans beverages. It's also used in the production of cosmetics such as the cocoa butter body cream. And then cocoa pod husk has been found to be a good component of livestock feed, while the ash from husk is also used in producing black soap. And now we'll be looking at the last crop we'll be considering here, which is the oil palm with a botanical name of LSS genesis. The oil palm is native to West Africa and belongs to a plant family called the Palmia or the palm family. What are the varieties of oil palm that we have? There are 3 varieties of oil palm, namely the Dura, we have the Piscifera, and then the Tenera, which is an hybrid of the Dura and then the Piscifera. The Dura, this variety has a thin mesocarp, that is, the mesocarp is the layer where the red oil is stored, and then thick mesocarp, which is the shell with a large kernel. While the Piscifera has a thick mesocarp, which is unlike the thin mesocarp of the Dura, absence of endocarp with small kernel. While the Tenera, which through research efforts of the Nigerian Institute of Oil Palm Research, that is NIFO in Benin City, a hybrid called Tenera was produced by crossing that is having a hybrid of dura and piscifera. Tenera has a thick mesocarp, thin endocarp with moderate sized kernel. The Tenera gives a higher yield of about 3.5 tons per hectare of palm oil compared to the 0.5 tons per hectare by one of its parent, that is maybe let's just say the dura. Then what's the climatic requirement for oil palm? Oil palm requires a temperature range of about 18 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius and an average and evenly distributed high rainfall ranging from about 1,500 mm to 4,000 mm. The soil requirement for oil palm is that oil palm thrives optimally on slightly acidic soil with pH range of 4.5 to 6 to 6, and a well-drained and deep loam soil which is rich in organic matter. That is the soil requirement. The soil required for planting of oil palm is that the soil must be rich in organic matter. Then what's the land preparation? Oil palm is grown on virgin land or land under secondary forest that has been followed for many years. That is the land that has been left without planting anything on it for many years. The forest is cleared of all vegetation and all trees, is being felled. That is, before you plant your oil palm, you have to clear out vegetation, and then you have to both the undergrowth and then the trees, you have to fall them. You have to get them being felled. Then the planting. Oil palm is propagated by seed, and oil palm seed may remain dormant for over 1 year. That is, the seed might not germinate if you put it in the soil. Through research, NECO has developed a technology known as the germinator for breaking the oil palm seed dormancy.